The year is 2019, and the entire automotive world suddenly stops breathing. No leaks, no rumors, no spy shots. Then Bugatti pulls away the cover from a machine nobody expected. A car so exclusive that only 10 people on Earth would ever own it. A machine inspired by one of the most legendary supercars ever created, the Bugatti Dieci. Its name means 110 in Italian, a tribute to the iconic EB110 that shocked the world in the 1990s. But this is not simply a tribute. This is Bugatti rewriting history again. At first glance, the Dieci looks impossible. Sharp lines collide with smooth curves. Massive air intakes carve through the body. A tiny greenhouse sits low against the earth. Every angle screams aggression. Every surface bends light like a sculpture made from speed itself. And yet, beneath all this beauty hides something even more unbelievable. Because the Dieci is not just rare, it is one of the most expensive production cars ever built. And its story begins decades before its creation. Back in 1991, a car appeared that seemed to come from another dimension. The Bugatti EB110, named to celebrate 110 years since the birth of Ettore Bugatti. It featured 4 turbochargers, all-wheel drive, a carbon fiber chassis, and performance numbers that embarrassed nearly everything on the road. The world was stunned. But despite its brilliance, Bugatti collapsed financially. The dream died, or at least everyone thought it did. Years later, the Bugatti brand returned under Volkswagen ownership. First came the Veyron, then the Chiron, each car pushing boundaries beyond imagination. Yet, there remained one unfinished chapter, the EB110, a legend that deserved a modern reincarnation. And Bugatti knew exactly how to do it. Instead of building thousands, they would create only 10, not 100, not 50, 10. 10 rolling masterpieces, 10 opportunities for collectors to own a piece of history. And before the public even saw the car, every single unit was sold out. Imagine that. A car worth millions completely sold out before most people even knew it existed. That alone tells you something extraordinary was coming. But the Dieci was not created merely to impress collectors. It was created to challenge Bugatti itself. Designers faced an impossible mission. How do you honor a legendary car without copying it? How do you respect the past while building the future? The answer became one of the most breathtaking designs ever to leave the Bugatti factory. The front end immediately captures your attention. Slim LED headlights sit almost horizontally, tiny compared to traditional Bugatti lamps. Their shape references the EB110 while looking aggressively futuristic. Below them, huge air intakes devour the air. The splitter stretches wide and low, making the entire car appear glued to the asphalt. Then your eyes travel to the sides, and suddenly you notice something unusual. 5 circular air vents behind the windows. 5 small openings, simple at first glance, yet they carry enormous significance, because the original EB110 also featured 5 circular vents. A tiny detail, yet one that connects 2 generations separated by decades. The roofline slopes gracefully toward the rear. The proportions are extreme. The cabin pushed forward, the engine sitting proudly behind the driver. Every inch optimized for performance. But the rear is where the Dieci becomes truly insane. An enormous fixed wing dominates the back. Unlike the active spoiler on the Chiron, this wing never hides. It exists for one purpose: downforce. It presses the car toward the road with incredible force, allowing insane stability at extreme speeds. Beneath it lies an aggressive diffuser. Air channels twist and expand. The exhaust outlets sit proudly at the sensor, and surrounding everything is a mesh so intricate it resembles modern art. Standing behind the Dieci feels less like looking at a car and more like staring at a jet fighter preparing for takeoff. But appearances can be deceiving because beneath this dramatic body lies an engineering masterpiece that borders on madness. The chassis is based on the Bugatti Chiron, already one of the greatest hypercars ever created. Yet, Bugatti engineers were not satisfied. They wanted more power, more drama, more exclusivity. So they went to work. The result was extraordinary. At the heart of the Senza Dieci sits one of the most legendary engines in automotive history, an 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16, 16 cylinders, 4 turbochargers, a layout so complicated that many manufacturers would never dare attempt it. This engine produces 1,600 horsepower, 100 more than the standard Chiron. Think about that for a moment. 1,600 horses living behind your back, waiting for the slightest movement of your right foot. The power flows through a 7-speed dual-clutch transmission. All 4 wheels receive torque, and when you launch the car, physics begins to feel optional. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour arrives in just 2.4 seconds. 0 to 200 takes 6.1 seconds, and 300 kilometers per hour, 12.1 seconds. Those numbers are difficult to comprehend. Most sports cars need 12 seconds to reach 200 kilometers. The Senza Dieci reaches 300. Imagine sitting inside, your head pressed into the seat, the world outside transforming into a blur, the engine roaring behind you like an angry beast. And just when you think the acceleration must stop, it keeps pulling, harder, faster, more violently, until fear and excitement become impossible to separate. But strangely enough, top speed is not the car's main objective. The Senza Dieci is electronically limited to 380 kilometers per hour, slower than the Chiron. That may sound disappointing until you discover why. The reason lies in aerodynamics. Bugatti designed the Senza Dieci for sharper handling and greater agility. The massive wing, the larger air intakes, the optimized airflow, everything prioritizes stability and cornering over absolute top speed. In fact, the Senza Dieci generates significantly more downforce than the Chiron, meaning it sticks to the road with astonishing confidence. This changes the personality of the car entirely. It is not simply a straight-line monster. It's a hypercar capable of dancing through corners despite weighing nearly 2 tons. And that creates a fascinating contradiction because nothing about the Senza Dieci should feel agile. The dimensions are enormous, the engine is gigantic, the power is absurd. Yet journalists who experienced prototypes described something surprising: precision, balance, confidence, as if the car shrinks around you once you start driving. That sensation did not happen accidentally. Bugatti engineers obsessed over weight reduction. The Senza Dieci is around 20 kilograms lighter than the Chiron. Carbon fiber dominates the construction. The wheels are optimized, the stabilizers are lighter. Even small components were redesigned to save precious grams. Every kilogram mattered because when you possess 1,600 horsepower, even tiny improvements create massive differences. And Bugatti knew their customers expected perfection. After all, these customers were paying an unimaginable amount of money. The official price, 8 million euros before taxes. 8 million! For comparison, you could buy mansions, private jets, entire collections of exotic cars, or one Senza Dieci, and somehow 10 people decided that was a perfectly reasonable choice. Who are these people? Billionaires, collectors, royal families, entrepreneurs? People whose garages resemble museums. For them, the Senza Dieci is more than transportation. It's art, an investment, a symbol, and perhaps most importantly, a privilege reserved for almost nobody. Because exclusivity is Bugatti's secret weapon. Scarcity creates desire. Desire creates legend, and legends live forever. Yet, even legends face impossible expectations. How do you deliver a car worthy of the EB110 name? How do you convince the world that nostalgia and innovation can coexist? How do you build something that honors history while creating new history? Bugatti believed they had the answer, but the true test was still ahead, because building the Centodieci would require craftsmanship so extreme, so obsessive, so meticulous, that each car would take months to complete. And what happened inside the Bugatti atelier proved why only 10 could ever exist, because creating perfection, turns out, is far harder than anyone imagined. Inside the Bugatti atelier, silence dominates the air, not because nothing is happening, but because every movement matters. Every tool, every measurement, every detail. The Centodieci is not assembled on a rushing production line. There are no robots frantically welding panels together, no endless conveyor belts. Instead, there are craftsmen, artists in overalls,